Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Friday, October 1st, 2021, and today's topic is called Sky Tie-Dye. It's a collection of images and sky observations happening September 25th through the 28th, 2021, and today's show number 120. And before we get into those sky observations, I'd like to say good day, osio, how, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, kedu, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobry, konnichiwa, dobronia, annyeonghaseyo, boa tarde, dobry den, aloha winala, kalimera, guten dag, and good day. And today's starter image, we're going to change things up a bit and talk about the blessing of food and water or liquid, any type of refreshments, and harmonizing frequencies between those and that of your body. Now, a few years ago, I came across a fascinating article by, I believe you say her name, Nicole LaVoie or LaVoie, and I believe she was a French-Canadian that resided a bit in southern Colorado, and I believe she passed on in 2015. So I extend extra blessings to her family and friends, whoever knew her. Anyway, the article that she wrote is called 995, and I'm just going to read it straight out, and then I'm going to give you a version of how I adapted her helpful practice, and I invite you to look at the two and see if either of those work, or if you have yet another version that is most harmonious for you. So here we go. 12 years ago, I ran across a paper explaining the 995 as sacred geometry numeric coding designed to bless the food and change it vibrationally to that of the Christ vibration. As our body changes and is filled with more and more light, the vibration of things we eat, drink, and surround ourselves with will be more and more important as we become sensitive to the vibrations. I applied the 995 to many things, and it works most of the time, electronic not always. Since I work with water, I noticed that whatever water I buy from the store, the water can be pure, but the energy is not there. Just imagine how many times the water that is on the planet has been recycled. I found that by blessing the water with the 995, the negativity is removed from it. Then the next step is to ask the spirit of the water to bring it to its highest potential. By doing this, you can bring all the water around you, bottled water, tap water, well water, river, lake, etc., to its highest form. Our body is made up of over 70% water, and the brain is over 90%. Just try it and taste the difference. You will bring your whole body to a better state, even if you don't feel it. Give it to your pets and your plants and watch. Of course, you can also do the blessing to the food you eat, the clothes you wear, the house you live in, the car, etc. To do the blessing to a person or animals that have an imbalance can only help. Also, I do the blessing when I see pictures of disasters. Everything we do to dissolve duality and bring the oneness is our prerogative as a child of God. Let's use it. The ancient coding meaning is, the first 9 means dissolving, the second 9 means duality, the 5 means the power of 1. The clockwise circle is to reset the energy. How to do it? Circle your food or water, etc. clockwise 3 times and say 995. Do it clockwise only, then ask the spirit or the energy of the water or food to bring it to its highest potential. That is it. Anybody can do it. It is a matter of choice and awareness. Enjoy, Nicole. And Nicole has a college background in psychology and philosophy and 20 years of hospital experience as an X-ray technician. She's founder of the Director of Soundwave Energy and has been involved in energy work since 1974. And after having a near-death experience, Nicole became interested in the healing arts. So that's her story, and that's her practice. Now, here's how I adapt it. Here's an example of how I adapted this helpful practice. Hover and move the right or dominant hand in a counterclockwise motion over the food, drink being cooked or prepped, or once it's on the plate or in the glass if it was not remembered to do so during the food prep time, or if you're not preparing the food yourself. So just hover and move the hand circles 3 times, saying, loved, blessed, and protected. If the food and drink has a strong off vibe or it's just not quite right, then also hover the hand in clockwise circles over the stomach and solar plexus, either before or after blessing the refreshment, saying, loved, blessed, cleared to receive. And by doing that, harmonizing yourself and the food, and they're brought to their highest potential, then they're a perfect frequency match, and so the experience of your food should be very harmonious. And so all that to say is, if you're going through an awakening or about to, or are well along the way, it doesn't matter. All of this applies. So As they say, our collective is evolving, our collective consciousness, and that means that our bodies are also changing. As she mentioned, we are being filled with more and more light, and our vibration is changing. I've noticed with myself personally, I don't even really want to eat solid foods anymore. If anything, everything is gravitating toward just liquids or just not eating much at all. And I used to love, have cravings for certain foods, and I have had none for many, many years now. It's a little frustrating because I used to really love to just the experience of eating food. Now it's just like, I'm putting it in my body. It doesn't matter what it tastes like. It's very strange, but that's where the body is evolving to. So anyway, all this to say, this really does work. I at least have noticed in my personal experience, and obviously she has with hers. So play around with it if you haven't tried already. It's also, as she says, absolutely can apply to everything, like she does the pictures of disasters. What I've been doing is when I go to pay for something and I only have like the electronic chip card, or it only takes that, and you shove that in the machine for like the auto pay. I've noticed if I take my hand and I do a counterclockwise circle, I say, love, abundance, more than enough, or abundance for myself and for everyone. And then I take the card out. And I've noticed that seems to have a good positive effect as well. So you can try playing this around in any of your, day-to-day uses and, dealing with everything around you. So enjoy if you embark on this little journey and have fun with it. All right, now we're going to get into sky observations part of the show. Now, I just spent a couple of times recording this show in full, and there was a technical difficulty, and so this is like round 3. So instead of going in detail, an analysis on every single slide pair, I might kind of skip through and invite you to look at some of these more on your own when you have a little more time. It's going to be a little abnormal for me in these shows, just for this time around. If you want to see how I normally do things, look at some of my previous shows. That being said, whether you're new or returning to this channel, I give you a heartfelt thanks. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're returning, you may want to skip this bit. If you're new, I'm going to give a super fast intro on what I'm doing here and why I'm doing it. And again, I invite you to look at previous shows to get the more lengthy version. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So all I do is go around wherever I happen to be, mostly around town in Miami, Miami, Florida, and I look up at the skies, and I just noticed a lot of strange things have been going on, especially in the last 3 years. It's been intensifying, and it's been going on. Some strangeness has really been visibly going on. I think since 2010, 2012, people have started noticing. I got my first little glimpse at around 2014 and kind of just didn't really think too much further. And then things ramped back up for me like big time starting in 2018 to really pay attention to this. But anyway, just take 2 to 5 minutes. I invite you to take 2 to 5 minutes a day wherever you are, coming and going about your daily stuff, or just step outside and have a look. And see what's going on in the skies. So there's a lot of anomalies and a lot of strangeness and high strangeness. I've even been picking up a ton of cloaking craft. And all I do is look with the naked eye, and I take some pictures. And a lot of times I'll see something obvious to the naked eye, but a lot of times I'll just feel something seems weird up in the sky, and I'll take a picture, even if I don't readily see it. And then I do what I'd say is just enhance the photo. I take the image, and I just edit attributes of it, such as contrast, brightness, color saturation, maybe color temperature a bit. And then bam, if you look at this example on the slide in front of you, the left is the original, the right's the enhanced version, you start to see a whole new world of stuff, just because the digital cameras and tech, picks up a vaster range of photo and light sensitivity. And that's about it. So you're going to hear me talking about plasma as my go-to as far as cloaking material of what I think are cloaking craft. Again, look at my previous shows to get my definition on what's a cloak and craft. But anyway, we're just going to move along, and I think you'll catch on as I move through the show. So we're going to look at the right-hand slide, and we see this red pink signature, and I invite you to look in the description box below of what could be doing that, and you may have some ideas of your own. But anyway, this caught my attention because I could make out that we had a perfect pure sphere going on. And we have this little wave moving across it, which is weird because it's got like a whiter, movement of this line, and then stuff in shadow on either side of it. We have this line is moving up this way with a definite curve to it, and then this is coming across this way. Just a lot of strange movement running counter to each other and not at all typical. I mean, this almost reminds me like the lines of a tennis ball going across the ball, and down here especially. Anyway, that brings up another question. Is this a pointed ellipse in a craft in its own right, or is this part of one whole thing, and we're just seeing a weird pattern drapes in front of it? Down here, I see these parallel lines. They're on the same angle, relatively same spacing. This is doing its own thing down here, but this looks like one large cloak and craft with a lot of like plasma material, around it to cloak it. This is swooping down, counter to what's going on here. So there's just a lot of strange stuff happening. See what you think is going on. Here, we're going to look at another, looking east at some oddities with quote-unquote clouds. These are not typical clouds. Not only do we have these things marching along parallel, and equidistant and kind of have the same kind of form, up at this angle, sharp angle. We have this thing coming and then diving down, and we have a sharp triangular form back here at F. We got a lot of weird stuff. And then we have this thing coming straight down and then banking, on sharp angle back this way, while this is more or less horizontal. All so strange and not at all ever going to happen in a natural cloud system. So this is another one where I'm going to invite you to spend some time and look at it on your own and see what you can see. Here's that triangle, another one back here. We also have different, color signature happening. And again, look at my description box below of what could be causing that. Then we have this looking off to the west. I just saw this reddish pink burst of color where it really shouldn't be. And then weird staccato cloud effect happening up here. I'm just going to jump to the enhanced version. Staccato cloud is just my little term I coined to refer to just this choppy disturbance that looks fuzzy, all choppy to the naked eye. And, it just reminds me of the musical term meaning dissonance and, disharmony here happening and choppiness happening all over. We got all kinds of color signatures happening in one little area where we shouldn't have this many. So the staccato cloud effect I attribute to cloak and craft above, and it's just either a byproduct of whatever it's powering, the source of the power for this thing, or it's done deliberately to disturb the local atmosphere to help cloak craft and other things. So we're going to move along. Here we're going to look again. We've got these parallel lines, very strong with gaps in between them. We're going to look, it's almost like a palm of a hand with fingers, and the spacings in between. But, again, we get the lines, and then we get these objects now. These look very triangular shaped and different shaped. So, and it looks like they're sitting on a rod. So is this one overall craft just kind of like holding extra craft that can take off at will? Or is this overall thing just one craft? You be the judge, but it's certainly not a natural cloud form. And then something happening here too, where we have a stick-like thing and these weird little shapes like thorns, like buds coming off of a branch or something. Really, really weird. See what you can find in there. You're going to find way more than I even flag or can tag and talk about. Now we're going to zoom out and see the overall scene. What makes it even more strange is we have that form plus this going on. So looking to the right, we have all of this weird stuff and then even weirder stuff happening up here. I'm going to cover this more in upcoming slides, so I'm going to move along. So just looking at that top part, here we go. This is the cover slide, why I called it Sky Tie-Dye. Because we have all of these colors sitting in the same localized position, which you would never have. So we've got the yellow, green, magenta roses, and then we have violets, purples, indigos, just all in the same area. And it's so heavily staccato. I mean, here's the tree is clear. This is all fuzzy, so it's not the camera. And to the naked eye, it's this way as well. So we got this staccato effect going all over the place. And you can look at what's going on here. This has symmetrical structure to it. So to me, look at these like stick-like things holding everything in place. To me, that's definitely artificial tech, advanced tech going on in there. Now, going back to our figure up here, if you can have a laptop and have the show running up on a bigger screen, and then at the same time have like a little handheld device like a camera phone and run the show on it, you're going to see a lot of different things depending on what scale you're looking at all of this. So I run this show as I'm narrating on a laptop, but if I ran it on a handheld device, I might call out totally different things, just to give you an example. So in this case, if you have a laptop and I get to some of the more bitmappy and blurry, choppy staccato effect scenes, just squint your eyes and you'll see stuff a lot better. So in this case, you can actually even make out a couple of faces in this thing if you squint your eyes. Like these are two eyes, and these are like vertical eyebrows or something. That would be the nostrils of our nose. I mean, it looks like this. Who was the villain? There's a villain in one of the Justice League's movies. It looks like that face. Anyway, we got like two pointy ears coming out. And it looks like he's blowing out like, this magenta color stuff and maybe blowing out golden stuff. It's just for, cloud play fun. But here we also have a triangular form. Looks like a letter A almost, a very rigid form. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on in this whole scene, but I'm going to say, my gosh, it has to be cloaking craft. We even have like this arc happening here of very regularized points, little lines coming across, which shows intelligent design. I don't know if that's swooping in and it's its own animal or if it's a part of this whole thing. See what you think. High strangeness for sure. Anyway, this is now looking actually west-southwest. And we have the staccato cloud effect up here. And then we have a standalone thing happening here, which is starting to look strange. And so we've got a line coming down this way, a line coming the opposing way this way, a triangular form in here, and weird patterning here, when nothing else is doing that in the sky. And if anything, this is doing something completely different. And again, we look at the color signatures. Why is this red? Well, the sunset's supposedly down here. It's all gold, and there's no red anywhere else. So again, I think this is some local phenomenon. Look at the description box below. And then we've got, strange coloring, this bright white, bright blue light, very ethereal looking. Something else is happening. And then we get a pure white object, or, kind of white-violet object in here, which shows me that's intelligent design too, especially when I see anything white and pure white and crystalline. A little bit's happening here too. Against a sea of monochrome color, whether it's gray or actual colors, tells me that's something of intelligent design. And actually, it almost looks like this is like a nostril or some like hangers and it's coming out of it. So anyway, see what you find in there. And we're going to hopefully get a little bit more what's going on there later. All right, so here's a panorama again of that object there. We get the color range and we see there's just something's going on up here. Now 8.1 gets very interesting because I see a line and a circle, a line and a circle, and a line or pipe, another circle over here. That shows intelligent design. There's no other way you can convince me. I mean, you can try. But how is that not tech? Because we've got pure circular forms and, going on a pattern, a repeating pattern. It's got to be something of intelligent design. There's something happening in here, too, kind of emerging amidst all of this. Anyway, see what you think is going on. And they're here again. We see more that's a triangular shape. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. We see even more that this is a pure, trying to get my cursor, pure triangular shape with a line going this way, a line going that way. Something strange happening above there that looks like cloaking material. Here we're going to zoom into the line, circle lines that I was talking about. There is a repeatable pattern, and I'll invite you to look at these on your own when you have a little more time. Okay, here it just was starting to look strange to the east. This stick and thing object at the end of it, this is pitching down this way. This is going more level. And again, it just looks like these things are emerging out of this bigger cloud assembly, which looked very artificial. That's not a typical, you can't call that a cumulus cloud form. It disintegrates around the edges, it's loose, it's not even in the like puffy billowing form. And then look, this is even more apparent that there's like a symmetrical object happening at the end of this pole or stick jutting out. So I'm going to say that these are, and this is going up yet again on its own way. I'm going to say there's a cloak and craft in here because there's like a pipe-like form happening there. I'm going to say something's cloaking in here, and also zooming down here that this is cloak and craft or multiples. Because look at this line. Let's follow that line. It has shadow, and it goes straight back this way, and it gets brighter toward the end where there's less cloak. So I'm calling that cloak and craft as well. C.1, that's a pure triangular form. Okay, now we're going to go back, hop back over to the west. This E should be W for west. This is actually, let's go to the right already. So that's that form that I was looking at that had that weird texture on top. Now it's like broken up. And now we have like a bar-like thing, I don't know. This looks like a fork-like thing at the end of a pole. And it looks like something more solid happening here with the pole moving that way. So I'm going to say that this is one overall craft, or it's a couple docking together. Here we have a pure triangular form. Here we have a pure square form. Here's like another arrowhead type form happening here. Got to be cloak and craft there. Now this is being highlighted a different way so we can catch what's going on up above. And again, just strange forms, all staccato, strange color signatures all over the place. This looks like the end of a pipe. This looks like the end of a pipe, that too. So it looks like we have, tech. Okay, this one we're going to look at, I was looking at, seeing mainly a pure true form happening at sea. But there's a lot of other strange stuff happening here too. With enhancement, we'll see it. We got like a weird like fin-like shape here, triangular form at 8.1. Here too. We have a triangular form also at 8.1. You know, just weird stuff happening, like a hole here, a hole here. See what you see in the scene. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my voice is all over the place today. Anyway, another strange scene. We're going to jump to the highlight version, though. And here, look at this. We have what looks like at the bottom of, like, this could be one huge sphere, you know, going on above, because look at this darkness. This pure line kind of implies that. And then it looks like we have cloaking stuff coming out of here. So we've got a solid form with like a trail coming behind it. We've got this kind of very ethereal light, that white-blue burst that isn't natural light looking coming out of there as well. This looks like a mini sphere at the bottom. Got these weird points, you know, texture happening here on the top of it that shows intelligent design. And then we have something that looks like it's zooming this way. Again, lots of weird movement, and then this thing just kind of like doing its own thing, like a pointed ellipse with weird spiky kind of cloaking stuff happening, and this moving up at a totally opposite angle. So again, a lot of oddities happening in that scene. And then we're going to zoom in on that pointed thing with the stuff moving at all different angles, this going this way, this going this way. Again, that would never happen in natural cloud movement. And then we're going to look at this with enhancement. We see, you know, triangle down here, triangular form at 8.1, triangular on a little bit on the side angle at B.1, one happening here too at the top at C.1, and there's just enough high strangeness in this entire photo to take a look at for a while. And, you know, look at this thing's doing its thing down here. I don't know what that is, but I'm saying that ain't natural. All right, now we're going to look at overall, like, patterns started emerging in the sky where these light points, brighter white points, started emerging and making a form. And that got real interesting with enhancement. So we have these individual pieces, you know, and then this like crescent shaped form happening here. There's a weird stick-like form here. So I'm going to say there is cloak and craft for sure going on up here, also making that staccato effect and also generating a lot of different color waves. So again, the golden, and this was straight up overhead. There's nothing to cause this yellow-green, at the same time the magentas and the blues and all these beautiful colors if it weren't for something happening directly overhead that's cloak and craft. And then look at this thing. This looks very interesting. It almost looks like molten liquid form happening even in the foreground. So I think a lot of very interesting things are happening here. It's almost like this is like some kind of bubble that's emerging from this, you know, cloak and craft, and that these are individual pods of it or something. But see what you think is happening. I always invite you anyway, by the way, to put in whatever you think might be going on in some of these scenes. Some are just truly mystifying, and I'm going to have more questions than answers. But even if you have something based, it can be based in logic or reason, or it can be something just fun and fantastical of what you're seeing, like cloud play. I welcome you to put that in the comment section below if you feel like it. Okay, now in this one we're going to jump to the right-hand side. Again, I started seeing these emerging points. They seem regularized, even though they have a little bit of different form each and on their own. But it showed some intelligent structure and design going on, so just really strange. All right, now, more really strangeness. We're looking to the west-southwest, and weird staccato stuff and light signatures are happening up in here in forms. But mainly here I see the outline, the silhouette of a disc on angle, and one parallel curve happening here as well. So we look at one level of enhancement, and sure enough, look at this. It's like backlit with its own energy light or something, disc-like shape, perfect shape, you know, symmetrical. I'm calling that cloak and craft. And we have the rim of another one back here emerging. All right, then we're going to enhance it so that we see this side, and we see some type of object happening here and here maybe. Weird color signatures in weird places in the sky where they shouldn't be. You know, where we've got the red-pink going this way, the ethereal light, blue and white happening here. Very, very odd. Then we're going to zoom in on that disc over here, and there you go, you know. Again, if you're on a bigger laptop screen, squint your eyes so you can see it better. If you have it on a smaller handheld device, it's going to be more clear. All right, then what the heck is going on here? We're looking east towards sunset, you know, past 7, almost 7:15 in the evening. And we have this moving this way, this stick-like thing coming down, this one moving horizontal, and this thing going zigzag down to the point of here, where this then shoots and offshoots to something totally level, horizontal. What the heck? We look at that with enhancement, it gets even more bizarre. Looks like this is like a shoot and it shot something out and there's a vapor trail, and this little thing is like going to eject now off and move on its own. So I'm calling that cloak and craft, and we got, you know, hints of something else here cloaking as well. Again, note the different color signatures. They should not be like this red-pink at this area of the sky, especially since nothing of that color was, projecting a strong cast strong enough to reach over here. Anyway, see what you think is going on. We're also going to look at C.1, very odd, this like stick-like thing with a triangular form at the end of it. When I enhance it a different way just to get at what's going on with this shape, we see that this looks like its own shape in its own right, and that the triangle is actually happening maybe further in the distance. Okay, more strangeness. We've got this moving, pitching down this way, and this down this way. These are both parallel. So let's look to the right-hand side. Here they are. Looks like these are machine parts of something curving over here. And then this is something doing its own thing coming from somewhere else. There's straight pieces here that again imply intelligent design cloaking behind something. Again, look at this. This is not a natural cloud. It's very level, and then it has a sharp curve, a very pronounced and crisp curve here. Just a lot of strange things happening up here as well. Sharp edges, very object-oriented things. See what you think is going on. All right, now this was really weird because this was not only just one of these, there were multiples like in a row, but I'm only focusing on one for now. Everything pitched at this exact angle, and it looks like a very clear, like elongated rectangle under cloak. And so we look at it with enhancement. We got a pure triangle form, triangular form happening over here, something strange happening in here with little things poking out here as well. Bright points, again, when I see pure white or crystalline shapes and brightness coming out of a sea of like one color, shows me something's up as far as tech or advanced technology and intelligent design. So here looks like something else is happening over here as well. All right, we're going to look at another version, and we got this peak here. Here we start to see interesting patterns. I'm going to jump to the highlight version. That's a pure black dot or hole. That wasn't a bug. Here we have these darker, places, and we have almost like a membrane, between them, like a, what do I want to say, a divider. But they look equidistant, so that looks like intelligent design happening in there. And then we have more stuff going on here. Anyway, something else happening back in here. And why is this so dark when this is all in the same plane? So it's almost like it's generating its own color. That's not something in shadow. And then we have something kind of really strange blurring here in the foreground. So I don't know if that's something interdimensional happening. But see what you think is happening with this bizarre thing. Oh, and at C.1, that looks like the end of a pipe as well, like coming along this way. Okay, this was really bizarre and actually pretty fun. So this is looking southwest, and nothing was in the sky but this. This little trio or quartet, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to look at it with enhancement, and we have, triangular shape, this going off in this angle, this coming straight up and down. And then we zoom in tighter, and we just get a lot of strangeness. This looks like a pure void, like hole or circle with a, pure line cut there. That's a triangular, that's a triangle. And then look at it's echoed, it's like incised out of this. So that's intelligent design. You don't get a pure cut angle like that out of a cloud, and not one that's echoing this, like it's separated here. This little weird stick-like thing coming straight off of this. This looks like the end of a skinny pipe or straw. Just a lot of strangeness going on in there as well. All right, now looking to the east, we have a pure triangle here. Straight line, straight line. We're going to look at this with enhancement. And we got a lot of little strangeness, little pop-ups of these bright white points happening all over the place. It tells me there's some type of cloaking mechanism going on. Okay, now this gets really weird east at sunrise. Pure triangular cloud going in front of the quote-unquote sun. I've talked about this at length to look at my previous shows on solar simulators or artificial sun. Also look at other Earth and Sky watching channels in general, but also for that concept. And, we're just regular people going out, making direct observations all around the world and coming up with some of the same conclusions and observations. So this one's important because with the solar simulator and all of that, we're talking about our original sun is being masked out by some white glaring technology. So our original sun has, warm tones with yellows and stuff. And then the artificial technology being employed is just bright white and glaring. And so what happens at sunrise is like clouds, weird, questionable clouds, move right in front of the sun, so you cannot see the transition, where the original golden sun is coming up and is getting overtaken and glared out by a big white ball. Bam, like that. And in here it gets interesting. I enhanced it a little bit stronger with the brightness so we could capture B and C in particular. Look at that's a pure stick or cylinder form. That's absolutely crisp and pure. and then there's like a triangular shape extending off of that. And we see the top of a triangular form here, and the triangle that we had is starting to break apart a bit, but it's still level and straight at the bottom. All right, then this is 2 minutes later from that little ball that was over here. Now, bam, it gets big, white, and glaring into our solar simulator. Then we're going to look at it with enhancements. So here's what we were looking at before, and look at the profile. See this carve out of this shape. If you follow my cursor, it's this shape too. I'm just showing you. It's only taking up this much space. Here's our reference tree. Okay, so it's only taking up this much space, and then 2 minutes later, bam, it expands into this white artificial cast of the solar simulator. Then look at E.1. Straight, rigid line. That's got to be some type of craft with some plasma at the end of it. See what you think, though. All right, now the same day, here's sunset, and bam. So what was weird about this particular day was, other than that triangular cloud before in the sunrise, there was really no other cloud, which was unusual and welcome, so we could see what's really going on with their sun. And then the sunset the same day, the same thing happened. There was always weird clouds covering it so you can't see it. And bam, you see that simulator in full glory. And then down here is just with some enhancement to see what's going on. We've got that pure white and like warm tones beyond. And then just like a split second later, my camera did different exposure, and you can just see the pure ball of what's going on here. And then rapidly after this, clouds came over it to obscure it. All right, well, this is the photo of the day and the close of the show. So thanks again for being here. It is Friday where I'm at, so hope it's a nice weekend ahead for you. But more than that, wish you a gorgeous right now and tremendous peace and love. And thank you for blessing this show with your presence with a capital P here for a while. That's the divinity in you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for whatever positive light and love you're bringing to the planet. I know it's a little cliche and people go, oh, love and light, but it really is true. We're here to uplift this entire world, starting with ourselves, so stay as positive as you can. There's a lot of crap going on in the world right now, but there's so many more beautiful things happening, and we have to remember to focus on those and elevate and bring ourselves up whenever we can. And if it's a particularly hard day, just try to keep yourself, imagine a hand in front of your face level. Just try to keep your spirits up above that line, even if it's just a notch up above that line, and don't let yourself dip down below for too long. Heal what you need to, feel it to heal it, as they say, go through it, but then move as quickly as you can, even just a notch above dead center. Just get just barely enough. You don't have to shoot for the moon all the way up and elevate yourself and be like, wee, happy. Just get yourself just enough over that dead center line, and lift yourself up that much, and that does wonders not only for yourself but for the entire world. So anyway, once again, thank you for being here. Tremendous peace and love. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.